The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Marcus Aurelius, Meditations. Have you ever found yourself playing the strong one? The rock for your friends? The calm in your family storm? The one who refuses to buckle under pressure at work? You've tried to absorb the stress, to be resilient, to just not let things get to you. And in the middle of all that effort, have you ever been accused of being cold, distant, or worse, that you just don't care? It's a punch to the gut, isn't it? Here you are, trying so hard to be a pillar of strength, and instead, you feel completely misunderstood. As if your very attempt to be stoic has somehow stripped you of your humanity. If that feeling echoes in you, even a little, then I need you to stay with me tonight, because we are going to dismantle one of the biggest, most damaging myths about Stoicism. We're going on a journey beyond the caricature of the unfeeling, emotionless statue to discover the profound, compassionate, and deeply human heart of this ancient way of life. This isn't about becoming a robot. It's about becoming a fortress, one with its doors wide open to the world, but with a foundation that cannot be shaken. We are going to learn how to be stoic without becoming cold. First, let's get one thing straight. The modern world has done a great disservice to the word stoic. With a lowercase s, it usually means someone who endures hardship without showing a flicker of feeling. Think of that cinematic hero who gets shot, pulls out the bullet himself, and keeps fighting without a wince. That's lowercase stoicism. It's about suppression. It's about gritting your teeth and pretending you're not bleeding. But capital C stoicism, the philosophy lived by emperors like Marcus Aurelius, playwrights like Seneca, and former slaves like Epictetus, is an entirely different universe. It is not about the suppression of emotion, but the transformation of emotion through reason and virtue. The great Stoics were not emotionless. They were masters of their inner citadel. They understood that our feelings are powerful, but they are not gospel truth. They are, as they would say, the direct result of our judgments. And the master key to this entire philosophy, the very foundation upon which it all rests, is called the dichotomy of control. Epictetus laid it out with beautiful clarity. Some things are in our control and others not. Things in our control are opinion, pursuit, desire, aversion, and in a word, whatever are our own actions. Things not in our control are body, property, reputation, command, and in one word, whatever are not our own actions. It sounds deceptively simple, but this is a life-altering idea. Think about the last time you were trapped in a traffic jam, late for something important. Your heart starts hammering. Your knuckles turn ghost white on the steering wheel. You start cursing the car ahead. You are suffering. But a Stoic would gently ask, what part of this situation do you actually control? The traffic? No. The other drivers? Absolutely not. The time you'll arrive? Not anymore. The only thing you have sovereign power over is your response. You can choose to fume and rage, poisoning your own mind with cortisol. Or you can choose to take a deep breath, accept the reality you're in, and reclaim the moment. You could listen to a podcast, call a loved one, or simply practice being present, noticing the sound of the rain on the roof. The external world hasn't changed, but your internal world has been completely revolutionized. You've gone from a powerless victim to an empowered agent of your own peace. This is not coldness. This is profound wisdom. Cold person suppresses their anger, clenching their jaw and letting it curdle into resentments inside. The Stoic examines the anger. They see it rise and ask, what judgment caused this? The judgment that I should not be in traffic. Is that a rational belief? Is the universe obligated to conform to my personal schedule? The honest answer is no. By calmly dissecting the faulty judgment, the destructive emotion starves. It loses its fuel. And this is where we begin to build the warm Stoic. The dichotomy of control isn't just a shield to protect your own peace. It's a key that unlocks your power for proactive, compassionate action. By wasting zero energy on things you cannot change, you unleash an enormous amount of energy to pour into the things you can. And what are those? Your own actions, your own character, the way you treat other people. Let's make it personal. A close friend comes to you, shattered because they've just been laid off. What does the cold caricature of a stoic do? They might say, well, the company's decision is outside your control. Don't be upset. It's illogical. Can you feel how dismissive that is? How invalidating? It's technically applying the principle, but without an ounce of humanity. It's philosophy used as a weapon. Now what does the true, wise stoic do? They also know their friend can't control the company's decision, but they turn the dichotomy of control inward, on themselves. They ask, what can she control in this moment? Not the job, no. But I can listen. I can offer my silent presence. I can show empathy. I can make them a cup of tea. I can help them polish their resume. I can remind them of their inherent worth, which was never, ever tied to that job title. The stoic action isn't to tell their friend to stop feeling sad. The sadness is a natural first wave. The truly stoic action is to provide a rock of support for the things that can't be done. It's a shift from the unchangeable past, the layoff, to the actionable present, the next step. This isn't coldness. It's the most practical, effective form of compassion. It's helping someone find their footing again, not by telling them the ground isn't shaking, but by being a steady hand to hold on to while it does. This leads us to how the Stoics truly saw emotions. They didn't label them good or bad. They saw them as natural phenomena, like weather. You don't get angry at the rain. You just decide whether to grab an umbrella. For the Stoics, disruptive emotions were born from our assent to impressions. An impression is the raw, initial data. My boss just criticized my work in front of everyone. That is just a neutral fact. The assent is the story you tack onto that fact. You might assent to the judgment. This is a humiliation. My boss thinks I'm incompetent. My career is ruined. The result of that assent is a storm of what the Stoics called passions. Irrational, powerful emotions like shame, anger, and fear that wreck our inner peace. The cold, suppressive approach is to see that ugly painting and try to violently scrape the paint off or pretend it's not there. It's too late. The Stoic approach is to become a more discerning artist. It's to create a sacred pause between the impression, the blank canvas, and the assent, picking up the brush. In that pause, you ask, is the story I'm about to paint on this canvas true? Is it helpful? Is this comment truly a career-ending catastrophe, or is it just feedback? Unpleasant, yes, but just feedback. No, By questioning that initial, catastrophic judgment, you can choose a different story. My boss gave me critical feedback in public. It was uncomfortable, but it's a chance to learn. My worth is not defined by this one comment. Feel the difference in that new story. It isn't false positivity. It's a quiet sense of agency and resilience. You haven't denied the event. You've simply refused to let a destructive narrative hijack your peace. This is cognitive mastery, not emotional denial. And this brings us to the most beautiful, most overlooked part of Stoicism. Its profound emphasis on our connection to others. There's a concept that is the beating heart of warm Stoicism, called esympathia, the belief that all things are woven together in a single cosmic web. We aren't isolated islands of self-interest. We are all limbs of a single living body called humanity. The philosopher Heracles pictured this with his circles of concern. Imagine a series of concentric circles. At the very center is your own mind. The next circle is your immediate family. Then extended family, their neighbors, fellow citizens, and finally, all of humanity. Our life's work, Hierocles argued, is to constantly and consciously draw those outer circles inward, to treat strangers as neighbors, neighbors as family, and family as part of our very own self. This is the ultimate antidote to coldness. A true Stoic cannot be cold because they feel a sense of kinship and duty to everyone. They help others not from pity, which they saw as a passion, a faulty judgment that someone else's misfortune is inherently bad, but from a sense of justice and shared humanity. It's a rational, principled compassion. I help you because we are part of the same whole, and it is the right and virtuous thing to do. Your well-being is tied to my own. This is a far more robust and sustainable kindness than one built on fleeting feelings. Emotional compassion is exhausting. You can burn out from feeling everyone's pain. But a principled Stoic compassion is a wellspring that never runs dry, because it's rooted in a chosen commitment to virtue, not the whims of your emotional state. You help even on the days you don't feel like it, because it is who you have chosen to be. So this sounds wonderful in theory, but how do we actually do it? How do we build this warm, resilient Stoicism in the chaos of daily life? The Stoics were intensely practical. They had exercises, mental tools for the trenches. Let's look at a few. First is the practice of premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of future challenges. It sounds grim, but is actually a powerful antidote to anxiety. Each morning, you take a moment to quietly contemplate what could go wrong today. You might get stuck in traffic. A colleague might be difficult. You might have a disagreement with a loved one. You can even gently contemplate larger misfortunes, like illness or loss. The point isn't to create anxiety, it's to dissolve it. The goal is twofold. First, by mentally rehearsing adversity, you strip it of its power to shock you if it happens. It's an emotional fire drill. You've already considered how you might respond with grace. Second, and more beautifully, after contemplating what you lose, you open your eyes to your actual life, and you are flooded with gratitude. Your wallet is safe. Your loved ones are here. Your whole day is reframed as a gift. Another vital practice is the philosophical journal. This is exactly what Marcus Aurelius's meditations was, his private conversation with himself. Each evening, you can reflect on your day. Where did I act in line with my values? Where did I let a faulty judgment hijack my emotions? How could I have handled that difficult conversation with more wisdom? What did I do well? This isn't about beating yourself up. It's about being your own compassionate coach. It's a gentle, consistent process of self-improvement that makes you a conscious architect of your own character. By writing your thoughts down, you can look at them objectively, like a kind mentor, guiding yourself toward virtue, one day at a time. This practice is the bedrock of self-awareness. Finally, there is the view from above. When you feel crushed by a problem, when a personal slight or a professional setback feels like the end of the world, the Stoics advise this powerful visualization. Imagine yourself floating up out of your body. See yourself in your room. Float higher, seeing your house, your neighborhood, your city. Keep rising, seeing your country as a patch of color on the globe. Float higher still, seeing the earth as a pale blue dot suspended in the vast, silent darkness of space. You see the sun, the other planets, the Milky Way, the countless galaxies stretching out into an impossible infinity. From this cosmic perch, look back at that tiny planet and that tiny continent and that tiny city and try to find the tiny person who is so consumed by that one specific problem. From this vantage point, how big does your problem truly seem? The insult, the missed promotion, it all shrinks into its proper proportion. This isn't to say your problems aren't real. It is to say that they are not the whole of reality. This exercise doesn't make you cold or dismissive. It frees you from being imprisoned by your problems. It reconnects you to a majestic, awe-inspiring reality and grants you the grace to face your challenges. So, to be a true Stoic is not to build a wall around your heart. It's to become the master architect of your inner citadel. A city where emotions aren't outlaws, but are messengers to be questioned with kindness and reason. A city whose gates are open to your fellow humans, where compassion and duty are the law. A city with a watchtower that lets you see the vast, beautiful, bigger picture. This is a lifelong practice, not a quick fix. There will be days you get swept away by anger. There will be moments you judge a situation harshly. The goal is never perfection. The goal, as Seneca said, is simply to be making progress. To be a little wiser, a little stronger, a little more compassionate today than you were yesterday. This is the path of the warm Stoic, resilient, engaged, and deeply, profoundly human. If this journey toward a warmer, stronger version of yourself is one you want to continue, subscribe for more. In our next conversation, we'll explore the Stoic art of dealing with difficult people, how to protect your inner peace when the world outside seems determined to test it. For now, I'll leave you with a question. What's one situation in your life where you've struggled to balance strength with compassion? Share your story in the comments below. Let's learn from each other.